First, you want to take the spring back towards yourself and bring that out so that you're not working against resistance on a tool. Use your 8mm on the Felco 905 to open up that nut. Your micro adjustment setting, your face plate, take that portion out, your center bolt, and then your final blade. And that's a complete disassembly. You would wipe all of this off. So I would use the 981.
I wish I had my pruners on. You could just do.
I know. Well, I was gonna say, whenever you hear that there's a Felco rep at an actual trade show, bring your Felcos with you, because I actually travel with. This is my like little case.
Oh, that's cool.
To be able to clean and maintain everything. In fact, let's just use it in this video. So this has everything that I need. A little Scotch-Brite pad.
Is that something someone can get? Like the...
Yep, exactly. It's called the Felco 930. Here's our Felco 981. And we're gonna give a spray.
And this works so well when you've got a bunch of sap and sticky stuff all over your blade. You'll start to see like it'll foam up brown, and everything wipes right off. It works so well.
And then you're just gonna give like a little scrub to everything.
And that's a little Scotch-Brite.
Yep, this is a little Scotch-Brite. This is what our after-sales Felco service center recommends. You're gonna clean up the blade, make sure that you get everything off on this side, and don't be afraid to get all of the actual dirt and debris that may be around the point where the spring connects. Also, anything that's up here in this indentation, there's a small indentation right there in the edge where the head of the handle meets the actual handle, and that's going to be a grease point where we're going to put some grease in before we put it back together. To clean that all off, and then don't be an old farmer about it. You want to take all of the old grease out, so you can see that that's completely clean. Then for proper lubrication, you're going to take your 990 and you're going to put one nice bead here in the interior. And then, like I said, there's a small grease well there. You're going to put a small bead along that edge as well. And then you're going to put, I would like to do 3 dabs where you're going to seat the blade. And then pro tip, all Felco blades are going to be faced up with the actual inscription of the Felco brand and the number that the blade is. And then you always want to use genuine replacement parts on your Felcos. Seat it back on top of the rivets, and then marry this piece back together. Bring your center bolt back up through the back side, and then make sure that all of your components are nicely sandwiched together and that there's no voids or spaces between any of those. And your face plate goes back on. And then there's a very important adjustment that you do to Felcos in order to make sure that the tool is put back together completely with the adequate amount of torque. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten that adjustment key down, and then we do this at the Felco factory. We hold the base of the tool at the bottom and hold the handle up, and we want the tool to actually close on its own. So this demonstrates that the tool is adjusted too tightly.
That's smart. I didn't know that.
Yep, and where we ideally want to aim for is we want it to, the bypass blade to cross the anvil blade at this second rivet on a Felco 2 as like the guide. And so what you're going to do is you're going to adjust more loosely because we were too tight to begin with. And we're going to hold the base, and that's too loose. So you can see that the tool is now not held together accurately in order to have the best leverage and bypass for the cleanest cut. So we're going to go back in here and get it just how we like it. I might have done that a little too quickly, but it's meeting right. Actually, we can tighten it just a bit. There you go.
Oh yeah.
And you can see that it's met at the guide. And so then my pro tip is that I leave enough play here to be able to then set this at the appropriate angle, which is 90 degrees straight on. And then a Felco tool is designed to be thumb tight. However, all of us with our paws get a little big in there. So the tool would be fine like that, but I like to take the 8mm again and give it a quarter turn, just snug. And then ultimately you would put your spring back in. And then the finishing piece is that you would sharpen it by using your 905 with the 23-degree angle and run it back a few slides. And always do your sharpening before you do the final lubrication, because you don't want to be holding on to a tool with a lot of oil on it. And then finally you would use your Felco 980 to give it a nice fine mist, which is important to say here in Texas that it has a rust inhibitor in this, so that you're going to keep your blades nice and rust free. Important for the health of your tool, but also the health of your plants. And just kind of pat it in, close your tool back up.
And how often should someone do something like this? Typically like once a year, twice a year?
Certainly once a year at a minimum, but if you're a heavy user, you're a professional user, you're in your garden daily, you're a master gardener, I would recommend twice a year, but quarterly is most ideal. You change the oil in your car every 10,000 miles. You want to think about your Felco as your daily driver. So you want to do it on an as-needed basis related to how much it's getting used.
I mean, you saw it took like 5 minutes to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you can watch TV. I usually do it when I'm watching my TV in the evening after I'm done in the garden.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.